What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one. The 7-game win streak is over. It is our first, Monday dreading a loss in 8 weeks, but man, I don't even know what to say. I just got off the phone with someone who I consider a good friend I've made through this season, who's given me a lot of information what's going on, and I just got a piece of information handed down to me, and it's a little sensitive in terms of where this piece of information comes from and who it comes from, and it's not a good situation. It is not a good situation right now. I was told about an outburst that happened between a player and a coach after the game. I'm not going to go into specific details. I'm not even going to go into details on Patreon because I was told not to, but I'm going to say this situation is not good. Usually every week I do my weekly State of the Dolphins address. And, I wanted to come into this and talk about, what's next for is TUA done, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just sitting back and I'm looking at the situation, and now I get told what I get told. And I'm, let me just tell you this much. I think Watson or not, I think Tua might be done in Miami. I think he might be done with the whole situation. I think that bridge might be burned. And I don't know if there's no coming back from it. Man, I wish I could just go so deep into this right now. I'm just gonna say prepare for it. Prepare for it, because it's not a good situation right now. Tensions are at a high right now in the locker room, and the 7-game winning streak, it didn't solve things the way we thought it might solve things. Let's put it that way. And everyone's, including my own, everyone's assumption that no matter what Tua does, it might not be good enough. Looks like it might be true. For Wiz, I see what you said in the comments. That's not gonna say you're off base. Let's say that much. G Firm 456 donates $1.99. Said haven't felt this bad since Ricky retired. Listen, when I woke up this morning, it was tough, man. Even last night it was tough. I went to bed at like 9:30 last night. I just didn't want to put up with it. You know what I mean? I didn't want to put up with Twitter. I didn't want to put up with what was, I imagine what was going on Facebook. I just was not in the mood, man. I was emotionally drained and exhausted after yesterday. It's just brutal. And I what's crazy to me is we all knew we were not going to win 9 in a row to end the season. We've talked about it up here. We said, and I told y'all even before the game that that game was my biggest worry. It wasn't New England, it was Tennessee. So even though, I publicly and privately set myself up for failure on Sunday, it's still crazy how much being eliminated hurts compared to losing 7 in a row. Like, that's what's kinda crazy to me is we all knew the probability of us winning out was not very high, and we all knew it had never been done before, a team, starting 1-7, making the playoffs, never been done before. All these things going against us, and yet it still hurt as much as it did when we didn't make the playoffs. It's tough, man. It's, uh, it's tough. Um, people what's good, Timothy? People asking, what's next for the Dolphins, and, I really don't know because this is the reality of the situation. We're not a championship caliber team. I can't even sit here and say we have a championship caliber defense because when we went up against a smash mouth offense, we got punched in the mouth and we couldn't punch back. We were soft as baby shit when we needed to play our most physical game. And I mean, you know, especially when you get to the playoffs, you're going to have to play a very physical game. And yesterday proved our defense, because of the second level, was not ready for that big physical game. And offensively, we weren't ready for it either. Tua was awful. The offensive line was not good at times. You know, situational coaching was terrible. And it just, multiple people buckled under the pressure here. It's not one person. That's what's crazy. People are trying to say it's all about Tua. Multiple people. Just like for some reason, everyone hangs that loss in week 17 last year on Tua. Yet our defense was letting Matt Barkley look like a goddamn MVP in the second half of that game. People forget Matt Barkley shredded our defense up. People are giving up. See, people don't want to give a pass to Tua, but people want to give a pass to a defense that lets up, almost 200 yards rushing. And, they Foreman had over like 100 and I think as a team they had over 150 yards heading into the fourth quarter. So, couldn't get off on third down. I never bitch about officiating, but two blatant pass interference calls against Devontae Parker and against Gesicki. If that we get that, even if we don't get that Parker call, if Jason Sanders would have handled his business earlier on, we could have kicked another field goal there, and we're down by only 8. And the defense, they got some life because they got something to play for here. We're only down by 8, not 14. And, morale is down because we just got screwed out of a call. And it's kind of crazy too, and I didn't even know this. I should have done more research. The Tennessee Titans, I believe I want to say leading up to that game against Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, at this point, I guess we could include the game with Tua Tagovailoa because, I mean, he didn't really light up the scoreboard. But if you know, if you look at what the Titans had been doing, in recent weeks leading up to that game, passing touchdowns were scarce to come by against the Titans over the last couple weeks. And I didn't even know that. If you go back to, I believe let me look this up. I think it's week 12. Yeah, if you go back to week 12, so from week 13 to week 17, the Titans have only allowed one passing touchdown, and that was against Jimmy G, who they also picked off twice. So, this is a team that wasn't allowing passing touchdowns even in, weather climate that wasn't as bad as it was yesterday. Yet we thought passing 38 times was the way to win that game. I mean, you go figure that one out. I look at the situation, the bigger picture here is it's not the quarterback situation. It's not Tua, it's not Watson. I think why so many people are lashing out on Tua, I think why so many people are sad, disappointed today is because the realization is starting to set in. And the realization is that in 2023, and it don't matter if it's Tua or Watson, we are staring down the barrel of Greer and Flores being sent packing and us back to rebuilding and looking for a new coach. And the reason why I say that is multiple. One, if you get Watson, the expectations are going to be there. If you don't really deliver, you're done. Two, if you don't get Watson, it don't matter if it's Tua or whoever you get, the expectations are going to be there. No slow start, get to the playoffs. Because what happened here is the 7-game win streak brought back expectations for everyone. All of a sudden, we were put back in a position at number 7 and win out that if you're the team we all believed you were preseason with Tua, and remember I'm saying team, not offense. If you were the team we believed you were preseason, you'd go get the job done. And they didn't. I mean, I don't know what people want me to say right now. I mean, when I look at the defense, Christian Wilkins showed up. Jerome Baker showed up. Javon Holland showed up. I had one guy from each level of defense show up. What am I going to do with that? Goes back to last year against Buffalo, week 17. What did we say? Go back. The only guy who showed up last year in week 17 on both sides of the ball was Andrew Van Ginkel. Flip to the offense. Who showed up for us on the offensive side of the football? Who really showed up for? Who are you going to take away and say he had a good game? We allowed 11 pressures. 7 of those came from the left side, so you're not going to say the left side of the line. Jesse Davis gave up a key sack on 3rd down, so you're not going to say Jesse Davis. So what? Dieter Hunt showed up? Duke Johnson showed up? Jalen Waddle got erased. I mean, I've been telling all of y'all, if y'all have been listening to me for time, go back to the Jets game. I said, man, we didn't think that COVID would be the defensive coordinator that takes Jalen Waddle out of a game, but here we are. Listen, you know what's really troubling to me? And I said this on Larry's show earlier. Do y'all know what's really troubling to me? And bear with me here. I want you to listen to what I'm about to tell you. So we were all bitching yesterday. Why aren't they running the football? The bad weather. Duke was giving you 7 yards a carry. What's going on here, right? Did anyone see what Mike Gesicki said post-game yesterday? Anyone? Did anyone see what Mike Gesicki said post-game last night to Omar Kelly? Omar Kelly asked him, did you guys have an offensive game plan for bad weather? That's what he asked. He asked Mike Gesicki, did you guys have an offensive game plan for bad weather? Do you know what Mike Gesicki said? No. Mike Gesicki confirmed their own player said that we did not have a game plan in place for bad weather. Is this for real right now? Is that why we threw the ball 38 times? I've been on the bench. We've been winning, and what have I been saying? I said, Eric Stootsville, I'm firing your ass. You're the run game corner, but how the hell I would never know it. What's his bye? George Godsey, suspect play calling in situations, bad play design in situations. Lemuel Jean-Pierre, I don't know how you're still employed after the Jacksonville loss. You needed to be gone a long time ago. You look at this right now. If I'm the owner of the team and I find that out, bro, I am knocking on Brian Flores' door and I'm saying, listen, Brian, I know you might be the head coach and you might not be the offensive guru like you are on the defensive side of the football. All right. And you may not have your hands on the situation, but you better put your hands on the situation or someone's neck for not having a game plan for bad weather. Like, that is inexcusable. Because even on Friday, I warned all of you by the fourth quarter, it looked like the precipitation chances were going higher. On that day, the night before, me and EM talked. EM told me he looked at the weather. There was a chance of snow during the game on Saturday night. Game day, we all checked the weather. We saw what was going on. How was there not something in place? Because it's not hard. It's okay. Game plan. We're going to run the ball, open up the run portion of the playbook. That took me 30 seconds. That took me 30 seconds to find the basis. Now, give me a couple hours and I can start game planning with some run plays we will specifically go to in situations, like, by situations I mean down and distance, where we are in the field, etc., etc. Like, the negligence continues. It continues. Like I said in one of my keys, my 3 keys, offensive keys to victory. What was number 3? Don't be your own worst enemy. And from TUA not playing good, we're playing downright awful. From the offensive line being really shoddy at times. From our receivers not creating separation. When you actually look at our receivers, Jalen Waddle was the only receiver yesterday that averaged. I'm not talking about tight ends. I'm talking about receivers, wide receivers. Jalen Waddle was the only wide receiver that averaged more than the league average of separation per route. He was the only one over the number. Devontae Parker, the league average of separation like 2.9. Devontae Parker was like a yard and a half. To a 23% aggression throw rate, meaning almost a quarter of his throws were into tight windows. And this is, again, another frustrating situation. Did you see? We got out-coached, too. People need to realize we got out-coached. We got to go coach back. All right? Did you see Tannehill starts off 0 for 3, right? Couldn't get in a rhythm, right? They changed up their whole passing approach. They totally went to a run game, sets up the pass. The pass is predicated off the run. That's why when you look at his touchdowns, they're play actions and they're wide open. And all you got to do is, I could make the throw. All you got to do is lob it to the guys, right? Like, it's right there. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this. And it's just such a disaster, man. Like, I really don't know what to say anymore. And it's like, we got a quarterback shit in the bed right now, and you guys aren't helping the situation. Like, you guys are the coaches, and you're making it worse. Like, I'm looking at this situation, and I'm like, this, not only does the offensive line need to be rebuilt, not only does the running back room need to be rebuilt, Not only does the receiving core need to be built up because we already have a few pieces, but it needs to be added to and built up. But the whole sideline, like the whole coaching staff, it's a bunch of fucking useless pylons, man. I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the coaching staff, and I'm like, even if we get Watson, I don't want any of you around Watson. If we stick with Tua, I don't want any of you around. Maybe Charlie Fry. Maybe. And it's like, you look at against the Saints. You look at the creativity we put on tape. Waddle in the backfield, the twin back sets with a tight end and Jalen Waddle back there, or Waddle back there and himself. And then you go look at what we did against Tennessee, and it's like, what happened? Where did the creativity you were putting on tape against a team that we all knew was only going to score 3 points on you, the Saints with Ian Book? So you didn't need to open up the playbook against them. Where's all that creativity right now? Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle is not a 4.27 guy in that weather, in those conditions. Why aren't you putting Jalen Waddle in a position to be more successful? See, I don't even got to talk about Tua. Why aren't you putting Jalen Waddle in a position to be more successful? If you're seeing that they're locking him down, you can run those twin back sets and run them in the backfield to find new ways to get a release off the line of scrimmage and have them not be able to wash him out so quickly. Like, this is just, it's simple stuff. And I mean, all the people, we can only run an RPO offense with Tua. His arm's so weak. First of all, Tua Tagovailoa, longest completed air distance in the NFL yesterday at 55.1 yards on his throw. Number two, all of Tua's big throws and big splash plays have not come out of the RPO. They've actually come out of progression read offenses. And I already know what the tape's going to tell me. He had a clean pocket. He went through his progressions and he made the throw yesterday. You see what happens when they give him a clean pocket and progression? He can make the throw. It's just, the issue with Tua is he's not consistently reading all 3 levels. He can do it, he just doesn't do it consistent enough. But when he does it, that's what you get. G Firm 456, should we fire Flo? He can't coach offense. No, you don't have to fire Flo. Listen, George, don't apologize, bro. You don't have to curse. Don't fire Flo. Get someone where Flo can actually trust and is worthy of Flo going like with the offense. Get a veteran offensive coordinator that knows what the fuck he's doing. I already know Flo's earned his cachet with the 7-game win streak. He ain't going anywhere. But he's going to have to adapt or he's going to get snuffed out with this offense. Watson ain't going to fix everything for them. Watson ain't going to design the plays. Watson ain't going to call the plays. Watson ain't going to block. Watson ain't going to run. Watson ain't going to catch. AJ Frazier, I agree with they needed Jim Caldwell. 110%, I would love that guy to come back. They asked him to come back and he declined. There's something odd with that relationship. I don't know what's going on with him and Tua. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. He's got to do better. He's got to do better. And I'm just giving Flores this advice because if it don't happen, it's going to bite him in the ass. And I like Flo as a coach. Flo as a person, I mean, Flo as a person, I've heard some things. I mean, but I'm not here to judge Flo the person. I've heard things, but I don't know the guy from a can of paint. I'm not going to go off what I heard. But what I heard isn't very flattering. But as a coach, I think we all know, especially defensively, he's really good at his job defensively. Now, putting together an offensive coaching staff and putting together an offense, he hasn't been able to do that. It is what it is with that. I mean, call a spade a spade. Flores has not built, and it's not the quarterback, okay? Flores just has not built. MG Taxman, Caldwell was gone before Tua. Pretim, you're asking me about the Flores bomb. If Tua gets traded, I will drop the Flores bomb. If Flores gets fired, which I don't think is going to happen, or Tua gets traded, I'll drop the Flores bomb for you guys. Don't worry. And I'll probably tell you guys what I heard just before I went live right now. And for those of you just joining, what I heard, I got a text. I said, one of my buddies said, listen, I got some major info. Hit me up. I know you're going live, but hit me up. And this is a guy who's plugged in. He gave me all that Xavier Howard information. He's given me quite a bit of information you guys have seen on the Patreon, and he's been spot on with his stuff. And he basically told me that a player I'm not allowed to name and a coach I'm not allowed to name got into a very heated exchange post-game yesterday, and it's not a good situation. Let's just call it that. Now, y'all can guess the player. Y'all can guess the coach. But it was not a good situation at all. So, and I will say this. I'll give you guys the hints of all hints. I'm not telling you. This coach and this player already have a questionable relationship in the public that many people raise their eyes at. I'll just say that, okay? I was told not to. But hey, if you guys guess it, that's up to you, man. Because I'm seeing some right guesses in the comments. I'm seeing some wrong guesses in the comments right now. So I'm seeing some right, I'm seeing some wrong. Just gonna say that. So it's not a good situation right now, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I think this situation with Tua Tagovailoa might not be repairable, and it's going to be a very interesting offseason. Fully expect them to circle back and check the Watson market again, and those talks will get reignited. Fully expect that to happen. Prepare yourself. I don't know what to say. I'm at a loss for words, What it's crazy. One loss, and from everything I'm hearing, we went right back to the team we were behind the scenes during the 7-game losing streak. So, yeah. So, personally, just brace yourselves. For all of you that love Tua, for all of you that don't want Watson, for all of you that hate Tua, but for all of you that love Watson, just brace yourselves. That's all I'm going to say right now. It's going to be a up and down off season, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So, not really much else to say. I mean, it stinks to lose. It sucks when you lose and things just snowball, right? Like, it's one thing to take a loss and take it on a chin and then get back up and be like, okay, next time. But it's like, because we lost, you know what I mean? It's going to continue. Like, it's just going to, this cloud's going to hang over this team. Because, like, here's the thing. I'm going to tell y'all right now. If, J-Boy asked, should I sell my Tagovailoa jersey? I'm going to tell you a story publicly right now, okay? Based off of what I know, My mom, she got me some big Christmas gift that I guess hasn't come in yet or whatever. We're still waiting on it. And I asked my wife because she knows what it is. I said to her, I said, "Is it Tua Tagovailoa related?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, good." Because, I was going to go get the white Tua throwback. I'm holding off right now. I got to see how this plays out. Like, let me just put it that way, okay? So, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Just prepare yourself. Like I said yesterday, Tua's not doing themselves any favors, man. He hasn't played good enough over the last 3 games, and yesterday he really didn't play good enough. And already with them 1 foot out, you can't afford that, right? Like the I said it all along. Tua Tagovailoa could not afford to be one of the reasons why we lose. And yesterday, he was a major contributing factor as to why we lost. So, yeah, I don't know. Tough one, man. Brutal. So we're gonna review. We're gonna go over the snap counts as usual. We're gonna get into everything. One second, guys. 1 second. Let me look at this for a sec. Sorry, guys. I was purposely muted there. Dude, I was purposely muted, guys. I was purposely muted. Everyone's like, "You're muted, you're muted." I had to talk to my wife for a sec. I had a question. I'm bidding on a don't kill me, guys. I'm bidding on a Tua patch auto. Let me see here. Don't kill me. I'm bidding on a Tua patch auto. Let's see if I get it. Did I get it? Did I get it? Did I get it? Did I get it? I got outbid. Son of a by $5. By $5 freaking dollars, people. Ugh, whatever. It is what it is. All right. I mean, we're gonna get into the snap counts. We're gonna get into the PFF grades. The alarming thing for me was when you look at Tua from a clean pocket. Tua from a clean pocket was actually his worst clean pocket performance. Bobby, I ain't giving you 2K for no card, bro. I was about to get like a $500-$600. That was a gold standard triple patch auto with gold signature out of 25. I was about to get it for I got outbid by $5 in like the final seconds. I'm bitter. That thing was worth like $500 or $600, and I was gonna get away with it for like 150. So, you know, the glaring thing to me was Tua from a clean pocket, and we'll do the all 22 tomorrow. I mean, you know, we'll do the all 22 tomorrow, and we'll see, because an interesting thing I really want to see is what Omar Kelly said. I don't know if anyone heard what Omar Kelly said, but Omar said um Omar said that when Tua had a clean pocket, everything was covered downfield. And now he would have had a better view than all of us because he's from the press, so he's getting like a live all 22. So no DY2 streaking. The last all 2 of 22, if he gets traded, would be next week when you do the Patriots game. But apparently, Omar's claiming everything was covered down. Everything, hey, cardboard therapy, hit me up. Apparently, he was claiming that everything was covered downfield. So I want to see what the deal is on that. If everything was covered downfield, it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, Jaggernaut. That's how teams have been playing us all year, right? Send 3 or 4, drop the rest. That's literally been how people have been playing. And you know what people don't realize is, because you don't draw the safeties and linebackers up, you're always going to have tight windows. You're always going to have a safety over top, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's what happens when you don't run the football, and that's what happens when you don't really have when you don't really have speed that they respect. Waddle isn't enough speed for them to respect it. That's just what it is. I don't know what else to say. Like, he just doesn't have the speed right now for them to respect it. And, because of that, it were pretty easy to scheme for, right? Like, I don't think anyone's going to sit here and, deny that. We are a pretty easy offense to scheme for. So, I don't know, man. Brutal. Absolutely brutal way to end the year. It is what it is. It's tough. I get it. It sucks more than anything. I get that too. But I mean, there's nothing we can do except keep your head up and move the hell on, man. I mean, really, what else is there to do? We could sit here, we can blame this person. Everyone can have their own people that they want to blame and point their fingers. They can want Flo fired, they could want Tua traded. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what's gonna matter is what Ross thinks, then the decisions he makes and the decisions he hands down. So Nelson, no, the heated argument was not between Pilardi and Boyer. That's a good one though. All right, so let's hop in. Let's get into the I guess you know what we'll do. We'll start off with the snap counts. Like we do every week. We only got a couple weeks left of this, so bask in it while it happens, I guess. Man, it sucks that only a couple more weeks. One more week of meaningful football for the Miami Dolphins. That's such a hard pill to swallow, man. I mean, I just want to win. Like, I'm sorry. I am at that point where I don't care how you get there, just win. Like, it's just frustrating to watch. We see what the Chargers and the Bengals have invested in their offensive line. You see Eckler's having a great season. Mixon's having a great season. The Bengals receivers are having a great season. You see all these people reaping rewards from fixing the offensive line, and here we are with fucking Austin Jackson still trying to make it work. Huh. Yeah, it's just terrible, man. Terrible. All right, let's get into things. Guys, subscribe. Smash that like button. There's 265 of you in the room. Smash that like button. If you'd like to donate, paypal.me/Phinside. Become a Phinside the NFL Patreon, patreon.com/Phinside the NFL. You also become a YouTube channel member by hitting join right next to subscribe down below. Both YouTube channel members and patrons will get early access to my film studies. My next one coming out will be Jalen Waddle. Hopefully he breaks the record. That's why I've been waiting to put that together for y'all. So, go check it out. You get certain perks, Patreons, you get early access, you get access to insider info, YouTube channel members, you get special emojis and all that good stuff. PatDrives.com, use code Phinside, save 20% off your order. Backroomcollection.net, use code REASON, save 10% off your order. And then ThriveFantasy.com, one final week until we get in the playoffs and the new tournament start. Use code Phinside to have every dollar up to your first 100 deposited matched by ThriveFantasy.com, your number one leader in fantasy prop bets. So let's hop into the snap counts, and we'll go from there. And that said, we will start off. Let me take that out. We are going to start off with defensive snap counts. So when you look at the snap counts for the defense, Alandon Roberts, he played, a lot of snaps. The thing about that is if you look at what they did to us, Raekwon Davis had arguably his worst game as a pro too. I mean, they ran right up the gut and they targeted Alandon Roberts in the run game, and that's how they were gashing us. Once they got to that second level, Orlando Roberts was the target. And, yeah, Roberts was not good in the run game. You see Brandon Scarlett, he returned. But mainly, if you look at the number on the right for him, that's his special team snaps. Not the first number on the right, but the second number to the far right. So he was mainly using a special teams role. You look at Jalen Phillips, only 23 snaps. And, that's his lowest snap count since, I believe, like week 7. Look at Van Ginkel. Look at the amount of snaps he's seeing right now. Christian Wilkins seeing a ton of snaps. They found room for Seiler out there. And then you see, Brandon Jones comes back fully healthy, and we see Eric Rowe. His snaps obviously drastically dipped. And you see Kirk Merritt there on this list. He got 8 special team snaps. He got no offensive snaps. So Kirk Merritt was mainly used in a special teams role. Now, when we flip to the offensive snap count, this is what it looks like. So initially looking at this, Kinley, he saw his first offensive snap since week 2. Flores has not given an indication of whether Jackson was benched, what the deal was. He just said he had to come out for a series. Duke Johnson, he was clearly the running back 1 in this game. He saw 56% of the snaps compared to 24% of the snaps for Gaskin, and only 11% of the snaps for Lindsey. You look at Parker. Parker used a little bit more than Waddle, just 1 snap, but still. Durham Smythe, again, neck and neck, only 6 snaps differentiated them. This is the first time in 3 weeks Mike Gesicki has outsnapped Durham Smythe. The other crazy thing is Albert Wilson was good to go. Albert Wilson got no snaps whatsoever. Albert Wilson got no snaps yesterday, and he was good to go. So I don't know what to say. I mean, when you look at this, Duke should have had a higher workload. 62 snaps. Duke should have been out there for 50. Stop with this nonsense. taking him out after every big run and that big reception he had. Don't like it. Don't like it one bit, man. All right. When we go to the PFF grades from yesterday, so offensively, Tua put up his second worst PFF grade of the year and his third worst of his career. But you look at the top, Jacoby one snap, they gave him 90. How do you give him a 90 when he drew a fucking penalty and he didn't complete the pass? Jesus Christ. So Jesse Davis was your number one ranked with over 25 snaps or more. He had 75.9. Hunt was number 2. Eichenberg was 3. Parker was 4. Even EM hit me up today. He's like, how is Jesse Davis our highest graded guy? I'm like, bro, I don't know what these guys are watching. Durham Smythe was your number 5. And then when you go to the bottom, Austin Jackson was your worst graded offensive player. Tua was your second worst. Shaheen was your third worst, but he didn't play 25 snaps, so I don't count it. Jalen would technically be your third worst if we're going off 25 snaps. And if we go back up to 25 snaps, you got to skip Hollins, Ford, and Kinley. And then Gesicki would be, pretty bad there. And then Duke Johnson, they didn't give a very favorable grade. So, rough day for the offense. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how anyone graded in the 70s after that offensive performance. Being a little kind there. When you go to pass blocking, the Dolphins allowed 11 pressures, so they're back into double digits. After a couple weeks at 7, and then last week at 9, they're now up to 11. Eichenberg and Jackson combined for 7 of those allowed 11 pressures. The 2 sacks were charged to Dieter and Jesse Davis. Obviously, Jesse Davis's was crucial on a third down. So, and then they gave obviously that pressure to Solomon Kinley when they let that guy through him through the gap. So, back to double digits. Back to how we know. And then when you go by position and we go how everyone is grading out in terms of pass block on the offensive line, this is how we rank. Liam Eichenberg, number 2 in pressures allowed. Jesse Davis is tied for number 3. And then Austin Jackson is tied for 5th. Don't look at this 6. For some reason, they skipped 4 because of all the ties. So he's actually got the 5th most. So we still have 3 of the top 5 in pressures allowed offensively. So people still aren't catching up. You go figure it out. Okay. All right. Back to the game here. So that's pass blocking. When we go passing direction and pressure, this is what's troublesome. What about Tua here? Tua has been phenomenal from a clean pocket, and he just wasn't. When you look at Tua when he's kept clean, he was 15 of 30 for a 50 completion percentage, 161 yards, 5.4 yards per attempt. His average depth of target was actually 9.2, which was good. He's clearly pushing the ball downfield. His adjusted completion percentage, he had 3 drops. He had 4 drops yesterday. So the adjusted completion percentage bumped up to 60, but still not that great. That's his worst performance when he's been kept clean all year. And I think since including last season too. When he was under pressure, he was not good as well. He was 3 for 8 for 44 yards, a 37.5 completion percentage, and 1 interception. His average depth of target was 11.7 yards when he was under pressure. When he was not blitzed, he was 16 of 34, 47%, 47.1, 199 yards, and an interception. Average depth of target of 10.4. When he was blitzed, he was 2 of 4, 450%, 6 yards, and average depth of target of 4 yards. And also, when he wasn't blitzed, what did I want to say? When he wasn't blitzed, what was I going to say there? I was going to say something about when he wasn't blitzed. When he wasn't blitzed, he had 4 drops. Oh, and his adjusted completion percentage bumps up from 47.1 to 60.6, if you include the drops, right? Now, if you look at play action, 9 of 16 um, on play action, 56.3%, 125 yards, 0 touchdowns. On no play action, 9 of 22 for 80 yards and 1 interception. Not good. Now, I want to show you this, and I've never done this before. Let's look at what Tannehill did. All right. So when you look at what Ryan Tannehill did, all right, Ryan Tannehill, look at this. Ryan Tannehill. So when he was, look at all of Tannehill's yardage came when he was kept clean. He was 0 for 3 under pressure, but he was 13 for 15. All of his completions came when he was kept clean. He was 13 of 15 for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns when he was kept clean, and his average depth of target when he was kept clean was 5.4 yards. Remember, Tua's was over 9. But let's go back down to passing concept here for a second. See, I told all y'all he was chewing us on the play action. 7 for 11 on play action. 71 of his 120 yards and both touchdowns all came off of play action. And his highest depth of target was in play action, 11.6. On non-play action, he was what, 6 for 7, 85%, 49 yards. I mean, like that right there is telling you what's good. He also had no drops. And his average time to throw yesterday was about 2.82 seconds. When he was kept on play action, it was 3.07 seconds. When he was kept clean, it was about 2.67. Under pressure, he still had 3.35 seconds to throw. When he was blitzed, he still had 2.9 seconds to throw. So when you look at Tannehill, the play action was the difference, and the run set it up. You see, they gave him high percentage throws. They didn't force him into tight windows, and look at what he got. And then just, because I didn't give you his stat, but I gave it to them. So Tua, on when he was kept clean, he had 2.36 seconds time to throw. Under pressure, 3.98, almost 4 seconds. And then not blitz 2.89, and then when he's blitzed 2.2. So his average time to throw yesterday was about 2.81 seconds. That's the highest I've seen. So, pardon me. All right, now when we get into the defensive grades, Eric Rowe, he only played 15 snaps, so 88.5. I don't really count that. Javon Holland, 42 snaps. He played more than 25, 74.7. Jerome Baker, he was your number, he was right behind him with a 74. Zach Seiler with a 69. Nice. Byron Jones with a 68.3, and then X with a 62.5. Look at the bottom. I'm not going to count Calvin Monson. Raekwon Davis, I said he was, I didn't even know. Yeah. I said he was awful yesterday. Look at the grades backed it up. He put up a 32. Manuel Ogba right there with a 46.8. Brandon Jones had a 47.5. Phillips at a 49.6. Needham 52.1. Butler 54.5. Not great. And then, when we look specifically, let's look at the secondary for a sec here. When you look at, let's look at the secondary here. When you look at the secondary here, I mean, when we start getting into coverage numbers before I get into the coverage versus receiving, I mean, you see this, Brandon Jones, 147.9 NFL passer rating when targeted. Nick Needham allowed a 95.8. Eric Rowe, 87.5. Jerome Baker, 62.5. Calvin Munson at 72.9. Landon Roberts at 56.3. Andrew Van Ginkel 118.8. Xavier Howard allowed at 95.8. Javon Holland allowed at 95.8. Byron Jones, again, put zeros on the board in terms of allowing coverage. So let's get into the coverage versus receiving here and see how they did against it. So Jerome Baker, he was targeted 4 times. He allowed 2 receptions for 18 yards and a first down. Andrew Van Ginkel targeted 3 times, allowed 3 receptions for 38 yards and a first down. Javon Holland targeted twice, allowed 1 reception for a touchdown. They gave him one of the touchdowns charged, the Jeff Swam touchdown. They charged it against him. Xavier Howard, he was targeted twice, allowed 1 reception for 25 yards and a first down. Landon Roberts targeted twice, allowed 1 reception, 3 yards. You look at Brandon Jones, targeted twice, allowed 2 receptions for 20 yards, 2 first downs, and they gave the Firkser touchdown credit against Brandon Jones. Nick Needham targeted once, allowed 1 reception for 7 yards and a first down. Eric Rowe targeted once, allowed a reception for 5 yards. Calvin Munson targeted once, allowed 1 reception for 3 yards. You look at, and notice Byron Jones, not even targeted yesterday. They didn't even go to Byron Jones's way. So Byron Jones had an easy day. Let's, for the fun of it, let's get into special team grades. Let's see what happened here. So, and you know who I'm looking for. There he is. Jason Sanders, 60. Where's Pilardi? Someone show me where Pilardi is. Where's Pilardi? A 60.1. I don't know how they managed that, but in kicking grades, this should be good. Field goals. Jason Sanders had a 49.7 field goal grade. And let's look at Jason Sanders for a sec. Let's dive into this. This is not good. So Jason Sanders right now, guys. I mean, you look at it right now. Guys, he's 21 of 29 on the season. He's 6 for 8 from 30 to 39. He's 7 from 9 from 40 to 49. And he's 2 for 6 from beyond 50. Like, ouch. And what's crazy is, I know we all wanted the Devontae Parker call. If we didn't get that call, but Jason Sanders would have hit that field goal, that 52-yarder early in the game, he could have been set up for another field goal to make it 17-9, and that could have changed the game a little bit. But you look at him right now, like, he's got his worst grade of his career. I think he's officially missed the most field goals in his career in a single season right now. He's got the lowest field goal percentage he's ever put up. I mean, it's just a disaster right now. You look at this. This guy, 33.3% from 50-plus yards. Last year, he was 88.9. Year before that, 60. And the year before that, 1 for 1. Look at that. Unreal. And then I wanted to show you guys Pilardi. Oh, boy. I want you guys to see this one. Look at Pilardi, guys. His yards per punt attempt, 36.8. But his net yards per punt attempt was 29.8. That is terrible. That is so bad. His longest punt was 42 yards. This guy is a disaster, man. This guy is terrible. Like, that is legitimately a joke. Holy. Get this guy off my team. Oh. We found the Austin Jackson of punters, guys. So, I mean, 29.8 net yards. Are we? I bet you someone in the comments could give me that, if not better. I'm sorry. That's so bad. Like, this guy is brutal. So, yeah, you know, that's why that one scoring drive, they only had to go 46, 48 yards to score on us because this guy shanked the punt. Unbelievable. Brutal. Just brutal. Now, I mean, not much positive to take away from this game. I mean, even the analytics aren't giving us much positives. Now when we head into the next gen stats, and when we head into the passing chart, this is what we get. Let's start off with Tannehill's passing chart. This was Tannehill's passing chart. Very, very, very simple stuff here. You look at that. I mean, what? And that touchdown pass beyond 10 yards was a play action. The guy was wide open, right? So the guy was 3 for 7 beyond 10 yards. Only 7 of his 18 passes came beyond 10 yards. Wait till y'all see Tua's. Tua was pushing the ball down the field. And the passing chart tells you he was trying to push it down the field. Check this one out. And then when we hop into Tannehill's Tua Tagovailoa's passing chart, look at just spread everywhere. Just spread everywhere. And the guy was pushing it beyond 10 yards yesterday, that's for sure. He was pushing it beyond 10 yards. What's crazy is, guys, that's the chart we want to see. We just want to see more green. But that's the chart we want to see. We just want to see more green. Like, that's literally what we want to see. We just want to see take the red out, which was on Gesicki, take the red out, and we want to see more green and a couple blue spots. So that is the chart is actually really good. Like, this is, when you look at the shots being taken and the throws, this is one of the better charts he's put on display. But we just want to see more green. That's all. And maybe we see it this week against New England, right? Maybe we see it more this weekend. But if I see this chart again this weekend against the Patriots and there's a lot more green, I'm encouraged. So that ain't no RPO chart. Let me tell you that. That ain't no RPO chart. And again, I've been warning you guys, right? You look at the Austin Jackson illegal man downfield. What I've been telling you, that's why the ball's got to be out so quick in the RPO, because it's not college. They only give you like a yard downfield in the NFL, I think it is. So, I mean, a good chart. Let's just see some more green. Barney Tua will start this Sunday. I guarantee you that. So, hey, good chart. Let's just see some more green on that. And the weather played a factor. We all know that. But he was not that good yesterday too, so that also played a huge factor. Okay, just something I wanted to show you guys quickly. In terms of week 17, right? Just quickly here. So, when we take a look at some next gen stats here, look at the aggressive throw rate. Tua had the fourth highest aggressive throw rate yesterday. The difference is the big difference is between him, Burrow, Dalton, and Darnold was the weather, right? You don't want someone throwing into tight windows in the weather. Again, I go back to how they played Tannehill. The other impressive thing is look at his intended air yards, up to 9. That's pretty good. Now his quarterback rating was not good. His expected completion percentage was 64.6 and it was 47.4, so it was 17 points less than what it was supposed to be. Shout out to Joe Burrow. What an incredible 2 weeks he's put on. I got to add that. So just I wanted to show you, and then you look at his time to throw. That's one of the higher time to throws he's had all year. And the reason why I say that is if I take the whole regular season into context, right? And first of all, if you take the whole regular season into context, Tua Tagovailoa is number 2 in aggressive throw rate right now. He's at 19.1, 0.1 less than Joe Burrow. But if you look at time to throw, so Tua in the NFL right now has the 3rd lowest time to throw on average. Right now. Only Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger have quicker triggers right now. And then the next guy after him, we got to wait till we get into like 2.62. So almost a full 0.1 second more. So interesting stuff when you look at it. But anyways, all that said, let's get into the game yesterday. And when we get into the next gen stats, no surprise, he had the longest completion of the whole league, let alone yesterday. Tua Tagovailoa led the way in longest completed air distance, 55.1 yards. But reason, that was only a 40 some odd gain. How is it 55.1 yards? Well, behind the line of scrimmage and throwing to the hashes, that's 55.1 yards. That is not that. So he almost threw the ball 60 yards, right? So y'all getting your big splash plays and y'all getting all that, and for what? I mean, there you go. You get to see it. We still didn't win. It still didn't matter because after that big game, the offense still crapped the bed. So, well, we also didn't get calls we should have got, but still. Tannehill, his longest air yard completion was 32.3 yards. Chris Milton was the fastest ball carrier for the Dolphins yesterday at 19.23, but Damian Hillard on that touchdown run he had was the fastest ball carrier in the whole game, 20.64. Fastest sack was Jerome Baker in 3.4 seconds. Next fastest was Harold Landry at 3.9. When you look at passing, Tua beyond 20 yards was 1 for 2 for 45 yards. Tannehill was 0 for 1. When you look at the intermediate level, Tua really struggled. He was 5 of 16. And then, you look at Tannehill, they only gave him 7 intermediate shots, right? And he was 3 of 7. You look at from the short distance, 1 to 10 yards, Tua, um, you know, 7 of 13, not impressive. Tannehill was money. He was a perfect 5 of 5, and then behind the line of scrimmage, out of the two of them, Tua was the only one that had an incompletion. It was when he rolled out and tried to hit Waddle, and he overthrew him a little bit. When you look at rushing, the most success we had was running to Robert Hunt's side yesterday. And we did have a little success running to Jackson and Eichenberg's side, but Robert Hunt's been an absolute monster with Duke. When you look at this, they were just running up the gut against us yesterday. 5 attempts for 43 yards right up the gut, another 6 for 7 to the left side of the gut, and Dante Foreman, 26 carries for 132 yards and a touchdown. And then this is interesting. When you get to average receiver separation, so the league average is 2.91 yards. Oh, I lied to you guys earlier. I forgot about Isaiah Ford. When you look at actual receivers, Isaiah Ford and Jalen Waddle were the only guys that averaged more than the league average in separation. Parker did not, and that tells you they put the 3 highest they'll put the 5 highest guys on each chart. So that tells you Parker was the 5th highest. Gesicki averaged less than that. Smythe averaged a little bit more. But Gesicki and Parker, 2 guys who are supposed to be our big weapons outside of Waddle, averaging less than the league average of separation. You go over and you look at them. A.J. Brown offered, a little bit less, but he's far more dynamic than Parker and Gesicki are right now. But you look at first grade, their tight end. You look at Carlos Rogers, another receiver of theirs. You look at another tight end, Swam. And, don't know what to say. Back to a receiving core that isn't separating a lot naturally. You look at defensive pass rush. Jalen Phillips was back to leading the league, but not in a good way. The league average of defense of your average yards from separation from a QB is about 4.53 yards. Jalen Phillips, number 1, but 5.76 yards. Christian Wilkins, 6.23 yards. Zach Seiler, 6.61 yards, and Butler, 7.44 yards. I mean, guys, if you've been watching me week in, week out, we've never seen them that low. We've never seen that much distance on average between our guys. And I mean, that tells you what was Ogba's average separation. You know what I mean? Because he didn't even make the crack top 4. Because these are the top 4 guys, right? Bro, we've never seen that this year. That tells you we were getting dominated in the trenches right there. Just dominated right now. The average separation from QB, our closest guy, was over 5.5 yards. Bud Dupree, 4.2 yards. Jeffrey Simmons, 4.3 yards. Autry, 4.52 yards. Landry, who's a linebacker, 4.84 yards. So 3 guys for them averaged under the league average. 2 of those guys are in the interior. The other guy comes off the edge. Didn't get to the quarterback. You didn't make Tannehill feel uncomfortable. You did not put the game in his hands. And you didn't force Tannehill to beat you. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I mean, right there, those numbers for both sides show the difference between a good line and a bad line. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Don't know what else to say. But I do know this. Guys, I'm going to be back tomorrow night. We are going to look over the all-22 of TUA Tagovailoa. We're going to have over 40 plays to break down. So that's going to be an absolute joy and pleasure. I hope y'all will join us tomorrow night, me, Martin, and Ball Game. Hey, we'll get the 4-1-1. We'll see if the separation, how bad the separation issue really was. It'll put it in perspective of how bad Tua was when we look at the tape as well. We'll see how the offensive line held up in pass pro. The tape always tells us more than the broadcast does, and that's why this week I haven't even passed a letter grade yet on Tua. I'm waiting until I see the all-22. When I see the all-22, I will give you my letter grade. I will tell you right now, it don't look like it's going to be very good. Expect the lowest letter grade of the year. I'll tell you that much. Listen, I don't know what else to say to you guys. I mean, it's tough. I get it. But, man, this is a community. This is a family. We're bigger than a player. We're all about the logo. Players are going to come. Players are going to go. Not just Tua, if he does. But I just want everyone to realize, hey, the sun will shine again. And let's hope it's on us in the 2023 season, because this has been an exhausting, emotional roller coaster to be a Dolphins fan this year. They got our hopes. Our hopes were up going into the season. Our hopes got shot. Then our hopes got back up, and we got let down again. So, man, I love all of y'all for sticking around. This offseason, we're going to have a ton of content. Draft season, baby. No one does draft season like Phinside the NFL, and y'all are about to learn that real quick. So we're going to get into draft season. That's coming up. Free agency coming up. And we still got one more game against the Pats. Hey, let's go get a W against the Pats. Let's finish above 500. All right? When was the last time we had back-to-back seasons over 2 seasons? You know what I mean? Whenever the last time we had back-to-back seasons over 500. Let's do it, man. So, love all y'all. I will see all of you guys tomorrow night back here. All 22 breakdown. Let's get it. Until then, fins up all day, every day. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.